Welcome back to Bike Race Weekly. I am your host, Ryan Gerard, and I am here with my co-host,
Rick Greenwald.
So this week on the podcast, we're going to jump into the USA Crit calendar.
We're going to look at the USA Crit calendar. We're going to do our own little USA Crit season preview.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the courses, we're going to talk about some of the racing, and then we're also going to talk about, most importantly, the teams that are going to be participating in this year's 2020 USA Crit Series. Ryan and I are going to, do our little crystal ball thing and pick some predictions, right? Who's going to be the strongest teams, who are going to be the strongest riders, and yeah, we'll see what happens from there, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think I would say two teams really stand out for the men's.
Wait, Ryan, before we jump into this, how are you doing? What's new?
Oh, I'm doing well. Well, actually, before we even do that, we have a new beer of the week.
We have a new beer of the week.
I had never actually heard of this, and I've never seen it before, but it was on clearance, and it had a interesting box, so I was like, why not?
And Ryan's a big clearance guy, so...
I'm a big clearance guy. This is called Supper Club.
Is it Capital?
It's just Capital.
Capital Supper Club. I'm not
A
sure
Wisconsin
if that's
state
Capital
line.
Brewery.
I don't think it's Capital
Oh, no,
Brewery.
it is brewed by Capital Brewery.
It is brewed by Capital Brewing.
This might be our second Capital Brewery beer.
Yeah.
So I think we might be needing to reach out to them to see if they can supply us with a couple more of their beers.
There you go.
We'll see.
They have like some stuff on the side here. Pour after 4.
I'm not gonna lie, I oftentimes will pick a beer based on two credentials, right? What am I feeling? Like, do I want an amber? Do I want a porter? Do I want an IPA? Alright, that's number one. The second one is, how cool is the case art? And
Yeah, I would say a lot of that is based on the case art for me.
yeah, Supper Club. Very Wisconsin thing, a Supper Club. So, yeah, good beer of the week this week.
Alright, so
Anyways,
how you
yeah,
doing?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
What have you done the past week?
Kind of a mix now because the weather's getting a little nicer in the Midwest. If there's any Midwesterners out there, you probably know that we've been hitting some 50-degree days in Wisconsin. So, Ryan, you and I actually got outside for a ride on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
We cruised around the back roads of Sun Prairie, enjoyed some sunlight, got some vitamin D, so that was super nice. But during the week, the sun is still not really that bright after work, so I'm still, doing some workouts inside. My intramural basketball team just finished up playing for the season. We got a pretty big improvement over last season. We got one win this year.
Is that bittersweet?
Oh no, I mean we're pretty psyched about it. Last season we didn't get any wins, so hey, we'll take it, right? But yeah, that's what I've been doing. A little bit indoor training, basketball, and then getting outdoors now.
What have you done for training this week?
This week I did some intervals. Your classic, your 2x20, your 4x4. I guess that's kind of going into last week as well. I kind of keep it like, a hard day and then take a little bit of a rest or an easier day and then another hard day on the bike and then another rest or an easy day and then hopefully get a little bit more volume this weekend with the nice weather that we got.
Are you doing like Trainer Road when you're inside, or are you just doing your own thing?
I'm just doing my own thing.
Okay.
I've done Trainer Road before, so I kind of know like the workouts that they prescribe, but I'm just generally just doing my own thing.
What is your your setup like?
My setup?
Yeah, what is that like now?
So I have two different setups. I have a setup in my storage unit under my apartment.
Sure.
Because we actually got a noise complaint one time when I was using my trainer in my apartment. So that's very dark, but my wife was nice enough to actually like clear out all of her stuff to make room for my bike and put lights up in there so I can actually like turn on some like lights. And then I just have my phone and I'll load up a workout and then put some headphones on and just...
Where do you get your workouts from?
Sometimes I'll like go on a Trainer Road and actually pull a workout. So I don't necessarily follow a plan like verbatim, but I'll still do workouts on Trainer Road and I'll still pull some stuff there.
Okay.
And then
that's what I was wondering, if you were on Trainer Road or if you were like, I'm just gonna do 4x10s today with 3 minutes of break in between.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I generally follow the plans, but then I have my secondary setup, which is the YMCA in Sun Prairie, and they have bikes. Yeah. They have bikes with power meters and clips there. So sometimes if I want to work in some gym work, or I just don't want to sit under my apartment in storage unit, I'll go there and just get a workout in and use the bikes there. And at that point, I'm just like, making up a workout or like looking at the library and being like, okay, I'll just do like
Those
these
bikes might
types of-
actually connect to Bluetooth.
I've tried before.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get them to connect. But
It
that is
might
a good
be-
tip if you
yeah.
if you have like a gym that you belong to, and a lot of gyms now have like Cyclops bikes or power based bikes
Yeah,
where you can like connect your Garmin
Wada
or
bikes I
Wahoo.
think is what they have at the YMCA.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Cyclops are the nicest ones. If you can find the Cyclops
For sure.
bikes, that's the best because then you get power. Well, I get power in mine too, but yeah, I mean it's kind of nice just to like do a workout around. It's weird if like just being around other people also working out feels kind of nice.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
For me, it's almost like the change in setting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't want to do every single workout in the dark underneath or in my like little workout dungeon underneath my apartment. So I'll just mix it up and go there. So I usually do like like kind of off and on. One day in my apartment, one day in gym, and then I'm doing some weight training as well too.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
What about you, Ryan? What's new with you? How's your
Well,
winter going?
First
Check it
off,
in.
to be honest, like I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this.
The beer?
Yeah,
I like the beer.
it's
Why?
it's a little light for
Mm.
for my taste.
Yeah,
Kind of like a Miller. I'm not a huge fan of Miller Light.
I
But it
I
tastes
think this
kinda
is
like a Miller
closer
Lite to me.
Really, this tastes more like a High Life to me.
I'm not seeing it. It's
Mm,
it's a lighter
okay.
than High Life for me.
All right, I kind of like the mix. Like have a little bit of a lighter beer.
Yeah, I think
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's no Miller Light. Let's
no-
let's not get that
it's no
mistaken.
High Life.
It's no High Life.
It's no champagne of beer.
It's not the champagne of beer. No,
No,
I
no.
agree with that. I agree.
All right, so this week I took an FTP test
Whoa.
on Monday.
Crazy.
Yeah, the results were pretty big. I was not expecting the
Got some
results I got.
Got some gains.
Huge gains.
Huge
yeah.
change. Nice.
I went from 306 to 324.
Dang, that is big.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
What kind of plan did you just finish? Because you just finished a plan, right? If you took a rest week.
Yeah, I went from doing in between a mid-volume and high-volume plan, and
Okay.
I went strictly on the mid-volume plan.
Nice.
I hit every single workout, and I had massive gains from it. So, and actually now
is that
I
a new PR for?
new overall PR.
Nice.
And so I set a goal for myself that if I hit 320 on this, I was 100% going to do the P12 race at Grafton.
Yes, let's get it, dude.
And
Let's
I hit,
go.
yeah, so I hit my goal, and I still got plenty of time to improve that. My overall goal would be like 350, 360 going into Grafton.
Okay.
I think it's achievable, but it's kind of like at the limit of what I think I can achieve this year.
I still think you'll be able to race on the fitness that you just built too.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know what people's thresholds are that work in that race in those fields, but I would say that 325 at how heavy are you?
I'm getting bigger, so I'm
Getting thicker.
yeah, a little bit thicker. I'm really focusing on like just putting on that muscle mass.
Thick boy gains.
Yes, thick boy gains. So I'm
Alright.
trying to hit. I'm about 161 to 162.
Okay, I mean that's still not.
I think with
that's
the
not
day,
huge, though.
yeah, the day before I tested, or like a few days before I tested, I was 161.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be about 165 for Toad this year, and I want that to be mostly muscle.
Nice. All right. Well, I think you're well on your way to having a good build for Toad, and
Yeah.
the nice thing too about not having to worry about losing weight or even being on the opposite side, gaining weight, is that you can actually like fully fuel every workout. Like you don't have to worry about like like eating too much. If anything, it's like bring on the extra calories, right?
It's honestly
Bring on the extra lasagna.
Yeah, honestly, it's been more of when I feel like I don't need to eat tonight. It's kind of more actually reminding myself, no, I do.
You should still eat,
I
yeah.
do need to fuel myself, almost mostly for the recovery aspect.
Oh, 100%.
You know.
And the growth. I mean, that's when your
And
growth
the
is
growth,
happening.
yeah. So, like today when I got home, so I had like a bigger lunch, and like when I got home, I had a big smoothie where
nice.
it's like protein powder, yogurt,
All
peanut
good
butter,
stuff,
a bunch
all
of
good
fruit
stuff.
and stuff, a bunch of spinach. It's kind of like my only very nutritious meal I have.
Oh yeah. Ryan's not a big vegetable guy.
No. Even after this, I might have a little bit extra, but yeah.
Nice,
Today
dude.
was a rest day for me, so.
Get soaking up those gains.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, I'm super pumped to watch you.
Yeah, I'm pretty
probably
pumped.
gonna take my shirt off, maybe get some body art to support you as
There's-
a friend.
Yeah, And then leading up to it, I'm gonna try to do a bunch of P1, 2, 3 races. I'm gonna do the lacrosse weekend.
Oh, nice.
I'm not doing the time trial.
Yeah, I don't want to go
But
for it.
I'm gonna do because it's just a P1, 2 race.
It is. Yep.
So I'll do the P1, 2 road race and crit.
Yeah.
And see how I stack up there, and then the weekends leading up, I'll do the P1, 2, 3s.
Nice, man. Well, I'll join you for that weekend. I'll be in the Cat 3 race, so, sadly a different race than you.
Yeah, sadly.
It's like, dude, I feel like I've watched you grow up, because I feel like we were always kind of in the same category, and then, not kind of.
Well, time for you to step up, Rick.
I know, it is. It's time for me to step up and get my Cat 2 license. Which, you were just, over the last couple of years, you didn't do anything crazy. You were just really consistent with your training.
That was actually going to be what I was going to attribute this to. It's just pure consistency.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years,
I
just
think
pure consistency.
Because this was something that you were talking about before, and I've also seen pretty regularly, is you'll have these friends that they'll have a really great season. Maybe it's
huge year.
Maybe
yeah.
Well, no.
Big
I'm
miles.
talking. No, here's what I'm talking.
Oh, okay,
You got this friend that starts racing, and within the first year of cycling, that's why people get addicted to it, because you get so many gains so quick. Like you go from I can hardly ride a couple miles till if you train and ride a good amount, all of a sudden you're competitive in a Cat 4 field, which is pretty sweet, and that gets people addicted. And then you have these people that put in these huge years, let's say for somebody with a full-time job, maybe even a family, they're doing 12 to 16 hour weeks, big, and they get super fast, and they're able to absorb it, and they have a good season. But then for some reason or another, maybe they repeat it the next year, and then you just don't see them again, or they show up and they're not as fit. And I think that's a lot of times just because it takes so much commitment to put in that much work that people don't really know. They don't think that they can get fast by just doing 6 to 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. They think they got to do that 16 hours every single year, time over time. So I think that's a bad path to get on, because unless you can sustain it, I think sometimes people just get too burnt out and they don't see another way to do it.
Yeah, my focus is I've shifted from that idea that you have to get in those huge miles every single week, those 15-hour weeks, to more condensing it to let's get really efficient at riding a bike for 1 hour.
Sure.
And that's kind of how I've been focusing my training, and that's almost how I'm okay with the mid-volume plan, because that's almost how it directs you. There's 1 2-hour ride a week, and that's my biggest ride I'll do.
Right.
But then it's 2 hour-and-a-half rides, 1 or 2 hour rides, but they're really intense. And I feel it really focuses on that, what I want.
That energy system.
Yeah, that
right?
super focused 1 hour.
And especially, you just mentioned it before. You did the mid-volume plan, so you're not only doing a lot of indoor cycling, but you're doing the middle of the road plan. But you just said it. I nailed every workout. You did you basically were able to complete 100% or close to 100% because you weren't pushing up against your limit too much. And that means that you also absorb all of it too. So I think that's what a lot of people get caught into that trap too, where they try to do maybe not even too much, but as much as they can possibly handle. But it only takes a couple little life events or a couple bad nights of sleep to put you in the red if you're that close to the wall. And you just proved the point, you don't have to do crazy hours, but you do have to do consistently year over year, and then focus on it too.
Yeah. And then even on the recovery weeks, I actually remove my entire recovery week that Trainer Road has you do, and I do it I ride 1 hour easy every other day.
Okay.
And I want to feel amazing that week.
Right.
I want to get my mind off of training. Biking is kind of on.
It's the last thing you want to do, right?
It's not the last thing I want to do, but
you want to play some Rainbow Six Siege.
I want to play some Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, you gotta get that KD up.
Yeah, but I really wanted to make the secondary thing in my life during the rest week, and I think that's really what you should be using a rest week too, is put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
Cycling is not important that week.
No, right. It's even if you don't even want to do those recovery rides, you shouldn't.
Yeah, you could do other stuff.
You do other stuff.
Me and Anna started doing stuff together. That is the week that me and Anna really hit the gym and whatnot together. We do a lot of core work. We do a lot of stuff just together in general. And I think we need that.
Catch
I
up
think
on
that's a great time. Yeah.
Catch up on time that otherwise you don't normally get to spend like with a family member or friends or
Mm-hmm.
significant other. Yeah, I don't know. Because I've been on that other side of the coin where you feel like you're just training a lot and it's what you think you need to do as like, you know, a good amateur athlete, but you just kind of end up running yourself ragged. So yeah, I'm a big fan of, you know, like tailoring it back, doing a good amount to keep you competitive and a good amount where you're like still psyched to ride your bike. So like
Yeah.
every time you get on the bike, it's like I feel good, I'm ready to hit it. Maybe I'm at 95% of what I could be, but I'm not gonna like give up the rest of my life for that 5%.
Yeah, I think
That's the way I view it, you know? Just gotta have fun.
I think I've tried doing that in the past, and I'm just so past it, making it my entire life.
You just don't want to burn out, you know. You don't want to
Yeah.
you don't want to put it to a point where you don't want to do it anymore.
I feel like there are people that can dedicate their entire life to cycling,
Oh, yeah,
who
for
have
sure.
like significant other or kids. I feel like other people just look at them and think like, why?
Different-
It's almost kind of a little sad.
Well, different strokes for different folks. I mean, you got people that like they thoroughly enjoy balancing a full-time job, a
Yeah.
family, and a 20-hour training week. To be honest, if you can do that, like more power to you.
If
Like,
you can do that, if you can balance everything, that's awesome.
Impressive.
It's
for
just
real.
I think
not
there
for-
are people that they can't balance it, and
Well,
I
it's
think
not.
that's the
Yeah, it's not for me.
yeah.
And it's probably not. For
I guess
you.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that it's like sad or anything. But yeah, I feel like there just is a balance. I think I've hit that balance really well with gains that I feel like I haven't really seen in the past, just
Oh, yeah.
because I have been inconsistent with like college and stuff.
Right.
And also with my previous training plans where I got burnt out.
Right.
So I feel like I just had currently just have that perfect little
Perfect thing going
bubble
on. Well, cheers to that, dude.
yeah.
Congrats.
All right, so
To a good season.
to a good season. I'm really excited. The
Absolutely.
first race is like 2 months away.
Not even.
So-
Actually, it's like a month away.
Yeah, we're gonna try to camp out in La Crosse again that weekend.
Let's
Anna's
do
gonna
it.
be there to be minus 1 year.
Nice.
You know, she does a great job. She's gonna be doing some triathlons this year, so pretty excited for her.
Nice.
So yeah, all right.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess now that we've run through what's going on in our lives, the most important part of the podcast, obviously, we're now ready to talk about our USA Crits season preview.
Yes.
All right.
So let's talk about the schedule first.
Let's talk about the schedule. We
It
have
starts in a week.
roughly a week.
So probably this podcast will come out early next week, the week of the first episode or the first race, March 14th.
Alabama, Birmingham, Hammerfest.
I'm
Right.
surprised you memorized that.
Birmingham.
You are correct.
Hammerfest. I'm a super fan, Ryan.
The Birmingham Hammerfest in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes, last year I believe this was marked as a pre-season event, so I actually don't know if any of the points that the riders earn at this race went towards the overall, but now it is a fully integrated race into the calendar. I feel like March is probably a pretty good time to start the USA Crits calendar.
In Alabama, yeah.
Yeah, so the USA Crits calendar runs from the second weekend, I believe the 14th of March, to about the second weekend in September. Am
You're
I
good at
correct?
that.
I've
You are
looked-
good at that.
I have
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm gonna swivel around to
Yeah,
your
go
side
for it.
as well, Ryan, just to get a look at this calendar. Okay, so we've got the Birmingham Hammerfest. We've got and also too, it should be noted that the USA Crits calendar is, I guess in the last couple of years it was resurrected. So for a little while they tried putting the Pro Road calendar and the Pro Crit calendar kind of into the same calendar in order to get more teams to do the events, is kind of how I remember. Something like that.
My personal
They were called NCCs, National Criterion Calendar Races.
yeah, my personal feelings is honestly the U.S. should just get rid of road racing.
Hot take, Ryan. Do you really think the U.S. is ever going to get rid of road racing?
I think we're close.
You think so?
Yeah, the big
I mean,
races have all gone under.
Is
I think
Gila
crit
still
racing-
around?
No.
Crit racing's hot. Crit racing's hot right now. I mean, if you think about the amount of money that it costs to operate a USA Crits team versus the amount of money that it costs to operate a national road team, it's night and day. You need a follow car. You need way more parts, way more bikes, way more staff. You're traveling more.
Leo.
With the no cap.
Leo.
No. Sorry, we had
He's
some
about to
kid-
do a-
Oh no.
A hot bomb through here.
All right, we're good.
All right.
I'm blocking the way soon. So yeah, it just costs a lot more money to follow the road calendar, and I think we've started to see that in a little bit of resurgence in what I would call crit powerhouses. So if you remember, Ryan, and I'm sure you do, UHC used to have a crit specific team.
Correct.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they were quite the powerhouse for, I don't know, 2016, maybe 2017, back through, a long time. They were Health or Webcore before that, or I don't know,
I have
something
no
like
idea.
that. But they were like in the scene for a long time. And I think you're starting to see that now again with a couple of the teams getting some much better funding, much better organization, being way more focused specifically on just nailing all of the crits. And we're going to dive into those teams in a little bit, but currently we're still just talking about the calendar.
By the way, if you want to support crit racing in the U.S., go buy a subscription to this USA Crits
Yes.
live TV stuff.
USA Crits TV.
That is honestly the best way to promote cycling in the
Yes.
U.S. is just buying a subscription to the TV package. It's like $50.
No, it's like $15.
Oh, it's $15.
I think it's $15 for the season.
If you can go buy a Specialized Venge, you can go
You
buy a TV subscription for
100%.
USA Crits. Just
You
go
get,
do it.
You get all of the live events live. You get all of the replays of the events. You also get past events too. I think I saw some other some 2018, some 2019 events in my TV, queue.
Go watch them when you're on the trainer.
It's perfect trainer.
perfect
trainer stuff. Yeah.
Go do it.
Anyways, back
USA
to
Crits,
USA Crits
sponsor us.
That's right.
We're selling.
Yeah, we're selling. Anyways, back to the calendar. So then we have the Sun City Crit in El Paso. I think that was a new addition to the calendar last year, which ended up being a pretty cool course. We have the Spartanburg Criterium and the Athens Orthopedic Criterium. Those are two races that are part of Speed Week, which
Speed
is
Week.
kind of its own overall series.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We have the Winston-Salem Classic after that, May 23rd. That is a great weekend. It's also coupled with a UCI road race that weekend.
What is that?
UCI road race.
What road race?
It's I believe the Winston-Salem road race or something like that. It uses part of the crit course to finish.
Cool.
We have the infamous St. Francis Tulsa Tough series. And it looks like the Blue Dome Criterium is going to be the actual USA Crits points race for that weekend. Tulsa Tough is the best weekend of crit racing in the United States, hands down. Watch out, cat. It is 3 days of really cool venues, really cool racing, and a really great community. If you're going to watch any races this year, you're going to watch two. You're going to watch Tulsa Tough, all three of them, so I guess this is 4, and then you're going to watch Athens Twilight. Those are 4 great races.
I think they're only broadcasting these though.
Correct. These are the only ones. The ones that we're talking about are really the only ones that are going to get the USA Crit broadcasting. But anyways, then we've got the ASW Twilight Criterium that's in Boise. I've heard that's a favorite of some of the riders. You've got the Salt Lake Criterium in Utah. That's July 18th. And then we move to the San Rafael Sunset Crit, followed by Littleton, Colorado. And then we've got the season finale, the Benchmark Twilight Cycling Classic in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And that is the USA Crits calendar for the year. Ryan, what are your general thoughts on how the calendar looks? Are you seeing some events in there you like? Are you seeing some events in there that maybe you're not so hot on? General thoughts.
My general thought is that it comes nowhere near us.
Yes.
Like, even if we were like, we should make a road trip, it is just like in every single state that's not close to Wisconsin.
I think Winston-Salem might be the closest.
My biggest gripe,
Tulsa is probably the closest.
What is my biggest gripe is that they don't add Toad. Why isn't a downer on this?
I don't know. I think they have
Tom
to.
Schuler, what are you doing? Get on this calendar.
Tom's not watching this.
He's watching. He's watching.
Anyways, yeah, I think Toad. So for those of you that don't know, Toad is an 11-day criterium series in the Milwaukee area, the greater Milwaukee area of Wisconsin. It is by far the best crit series
If you're watching
in the United States. I know Tulsa's good. Toad is great. You've got 11
if you're
days
listening
racing, 11 days.
we hope you're watching to a cycling podcast, we hope you know what Downer is.
Yeah, so it's a great race. It's a classic. Downer Avenue used to be on the National Criterium calendar. It used to be the host to the national championships a few times, I
didn't know
believe.
that.
Yes, it's a really historic course. But I think you have to meet certain guidelines, and your race also just has to fit into the broader, USA Crits calendar.
It could.
Well, here's the problem. Toad also lines up right.
Oh, national
It lines up with
championships.
national championships. Watch out,
Get
Kitty. It does line up with the national championships. So I think that's a problem because a lot of the teams that are doing the USA Crit Series want to go to the national
That makes
championships. And it's 11 days long, so yeah, I mean, these are all individual races if you haven't noticed. Watch out, kitty cat.
What they need to do is make this.
Chasing this cat away from the table. We don't want to knock anything over.
What they need to do is brand this as the USA Championship. You know, like make it.
They just
need
say
to make
the
it.
cycling championship.
They honestly, I
The
think
champions championship.
They should almost like push USA Cycling out of this. and
Well,
do their
USA,
own thing.
I don't think they'd be able to do that. USA Cycling is a big part of Toad, so just pull the cat off here.
No, I'm saying, I'm just saying
Toad,
that
sorry,
USA,
not Toad.
USA Crits.
USA Crits. I mean, I think that'd be hard to do. I think we already see a lot more sponsorship dollars and energy going behind USA Crits compared
Yeah.
to a lot of the USA Cycling races, which are, like, and I'm talking about the bigger road races, the bigger stage races, which are kind of going by the wayside. So we'll see what happens the next couple of years. Who knows? Maybe USA Crits grows to be, a bigger organization. Only time will tell.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to their team page.
Teams. So now we're talking about some of the teams that are registered for the USA Crit Series. And to be a team in the USA Crit Series, you're considered a D1 team, I believe. So these are all teams that are actually registered with the series. They make some sort of commitment to do so many of the races. And watch out, Arthur.
I'll take them.
Okay. And they're following around the entire calendar around the United States. So in order to be a USA Crits D1 team, it actually is quite a commitment, both from a rider's perspective, because you're going to all these races, and it's a relatively long calendar, and from a financial team perspective, because obviously not many of these races are that close to each other, so you're spending quite a bit of money just flying all of your riders to and from whatever races that they need to actually be at. So, Ryan, I think we were going to talk about our favorites for the year. Do we want to go through all the teams? Do we want to just list all the teams?
Sure.
For the women's. So we'll start with the women's racing.
There's Wolfpack,
Wolfpack Cycling,
Automatic, Butcher Box, Colavita.
staple in the series.
This one,
DNA Cycling.
Hamilton. Hamilton, is that a new team?
I don't know.
They have a men's and women's team.
It's Hamilton United. It is. I think it is a new team. At least it's new to the series.
LLG Levine Law Group.
Nice. That's a returning team.
I'm trying to Riderbox.
Riderbox. Riderbox.com.
And then Robson Forensic.
Sponsored
by Tide.
Sponsored by Tide.
Good for them.
I love that they've got the Tide logo. Right.
That jersey, I feel like, is very early 2000s.
It reminds me of the Rabobank jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question. So let's also. Which is your favorite jersey?
Okay, so we're gonna rate these teams on a couple different parameters, but we're gonna start out with appearances. So, a favorite jersey, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with the classic, which is Colavita. They've
Really?
got that Celeste.
That was
light.
not going to be my.
Well, it's
top
my. You asked
4
me,
or 5
Ryan.
choice.
It's you can tell it's a team sponsored by Bianchi because it's that Celeste, kind of neon-y, not neon-y, but blue color. It's just very classic, it's timeless, as they say.
I'm going to go the exact opposite and say either Wolfpack or DNA.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're very in your face,
Yeah.
and I really like that. You can pick them out in like the crowd.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm not seeing any team kits in the women's side that I don't like. I think they all look pretty cool.
I do not like the Robinson Forensic.
I like it because it reminds me of like a 90s cycling team.
I
And that's
also
why
don't-
I like it.
I don't really like the orange, and there's 3 teams here with the same orange.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm not as
I really
picky as you.
dig like the bright colors. Like there's 2 teams with pinks,
Yep.
There's one team with like a brighter blue,
Nice.
and then the Colavita is like a brighter blue, but it's very plain.
Yes.
I do like the Butcher Box jersey.
The Butcher Box jerseys are cool. It's very different.
It's just, to me, it's very just like above average.
I agree.
But it's not like great.
Okay. Well, let's go talk. Well, we're still on the women's team, right? Let's run down who are the power teams this year. And I guess the way that we're looking at the teams, not necessarily looking at which team is going to win the team overall, but I think we're probably more concerned with what is the team that's going to win the most races. So when we're looking at, so like, in general, who do we think is going to be the powerhouse? Who do we think is going to bring home the most W's this year? That's the way that I'm looking at this, the overall ranking of these teams. Makes sense? Makes sense? All right, so give me your top. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Who are your top 3?
So number 3, I'm going to say DNA.
Okay.
I'm trying to just think of teams that I know.
Sure.
I want to say DNA. Second would be Colavita, and first would be Wolfpack.
Interesting. Okay, bold. Why Wolfpack for first?
First off, that name is incredible,
Pretty great.
and I want to say I've heard of the team. I heard of the team last year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, clicking on it will bring you to the roster.
The roster, yeah. So, and you can find all these teams at usacrits.com. Go into D1 teams. So, I'm gonna.
1 second.
All right. So you're going to Wolfpack right now.
Wolfpack has a very large roster.
They have a pretty deep team as well too. You've got some really solid talent in here. I think Summer Moak won Athens Twilight last year, if I'm not mistaken. So they've got some speed there.
So I'm going to go ahead and say Colavita is not going to be a top team because they only have 4 people on their roster.
All right. Well, when you look at their roster, though, if you're looking at Colavita, I mean, you've got to look at who's actually on the roster, and they've got some experienced leadership here. They've got Christine Gopi-Smith and Tina Pick, who are both, I believe, national multi-time champions. So right there, I don't know a lot about the other 2 riders they have listed, Brittany Parfrey and Sarah Tussey-Rains. Don't know a lot about them, but Colavita is always a solid team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they brought on some really good, really fast talent. So I'm going to give you my top 3, Ryan. And I'm going to go with, number 3, I'm going to go with DNA Cycling.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm going to go with Wolfpack.
Okay.
And number 1, I'm going to go with Butcher Box Cycling.
Why is that?
So I think Butcher Box, they put out some pretty ambitious goals this year. One of those, maybe 2 of those goals, is to win the overall for both the men's and the women's team. So, first of all, very ambitious. They've already done it with the men's team. I think they can do it again. And this is the first year that they had like a full women's squad. Last year was kind of their like beta, essentially. But there's kind of 2 things that are unfolding here. One, they're going in with a pretty well-established organization. I think they've got some pretty good funding to put a good team together. And 2, this kind of comes on the heels of the Hagens-Berman Superman team folding last year. So if we look at the roster for Butcher Box, we're actually seeing most of the riders, I think, are coming from that program. We've got Whitney Allison, Julie, I can't pronounce this last name.
Real quick, one thing I just noticed is
Sure.
IS Core is a sponsor of USA Crits.
Yes.
Very interesting.
I didn't actually notice that.
I thought they were out of sponsoring Crit Racing, but
Who knows?
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And they've got Harriet Owen on the squad, who won the Tour of America's Dairyland last year in quite dominating fashion. She won multiple stages and was very quick there. So they've got a lot of speed on this team, and I think they're going to be able to play some pretty good cards. I know Whitney Allison, I believe, is a pretty good time trialist, so they'll be able to roll the breakaways, and then they'll have Harriet Owen there to finish some of the sprints. So that's why I picked them as my number 1 USA Crits team.
All right, so on to the men's. So let's start with kits. So I'll go through these real quick.
Okay.
We have Automatic, Butcher Box.
Yep.
CS Velo, Legions of Los Angeles.
Legion
of Los Angeles. Good Guys Racing.
Great name.
Yeah. Hamilton again. Nashville Local Cycling. That's kind of crazy to me that a local cycling group sponsored a huge team.
Hey, cycling's big in
Yeah.
Nashville, yeah.
Primal, Robinson Forensic, the team sponsored by Tide.
Yes.
SCS,
Support
Clean Sport.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Cliff Bar Racing, and then Volair, I would assume.
So what is this team? Volair
Volair
Factory,
Factory
Team, presented by Oak Valley Community Bank.
Okay. So
Classic, very long cycling team name.
So right off the back, let's talk jerseys.
Let's talk who's looking hot.
Top three. We'll start top three jerseys.
Top 3 jerseys.
I'm gonna go number 3, Legion.
Yep, it's simple, it's clean, it's
It
very
looks, no, it's just like Sky's like training kit.
well. If we look at who makes the kit,
It is Rafa.
It is Rafa.
It is Rafa.
It is very Rafa-esque, and I feel like you can never go wrong with Rafa, but it's never a gamble to go with Rafa. It's
Mhm.
never going to be too bold. It's always just going to be classic and nice and clean.
You know what? I'm gonna change that to saying Butcher Box and Legion are tied
Okay.
for third.
Okay, tied for third.
Second would
we'll
be
let that
Primal.
slide. Primal.
And
okay.
then first would be Cliff Bar.
Ooh, all right.
Big fan of
Big
Cliff
fan
Bar's
of Cliff Bar.
kit. Yeah,
It looks
big fan of
pretty
Cliff.
cool. Cliff.
We are biased, by the way.
We are
Cliff Bar.
biased. Big fans.
Big fans.
Big fans.
Big fans, Cliff Bar.
Yeah.
We were able to interview the team a few years back.
Yes, we were, and
Gateway Cup.
just cool guys.
Really
So,
cool guys. Really awesome guys.
Yeah, we're a little bit.
They were
biased.
so willing to do a podcast with us. It was awesome.
Yeah, and it was
great.
I just like walked up to him in my cycling kit.
Yeah.
And I was just at like a rant. There was like a coffee shop in a park, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys mind if we get like 15 minutes of your time?" They were super cool and just sat down with us and had coffee and chatted.
that was one of the most incredible experiences that I've ever had.
Me too.
I don't know, it's just kind of like
pretty-
guys you look up
it's
to
pretty
and you
great.
see like on the big stage
Well,
of crit racing.
and like crit racing, you kind of forget sometimes. It's like a relatively small sport.
Yeah.
So all these people that you watch all the time, it's like, oh, we actually have a sport where they're like quite accessible, and Cliff Bar brings out a lot of guys that are just really cool guys. So that was super nice. All right, let's
your
hear
top
that's
three. Your
my,
top three.
My top 3 cycling kits. All right, I'm gonna start off because it's just classic and clean. Legion, really good. I'm gonna throw you a curveball, and I'm gonna go with Good Guys Racing. Big fan.
All black.
Big fan of the all black. I love the name. It's Good Guys Racing NYC, presented by highwaterwomen.org. Classic long cycling team name. That's pretty great.
I'm just seeing if there's any names I recognize here. I want to say I recognize Carlos Joaquin Tejeda Villar, but I feel like his name has shown up as like Carlos Villar.
Oh, okay.
I
From
feel like
from like a different race.
I want to say he might have been on Butcher Box last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, either Butcher Box or
I think.
Legion.
Are you thinking of
Oh, I might be thinking of Cesar,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but he might have been on Legion.
Oh, maybe he was. So yeah, that's Good Guys Racing.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Good Guys Racing. That's my number 2. Number 1, I'm also gonna agree with you, Ryan. I'm gonna go with
Cliff
Cliff
Bar.
Bar.
Yeah.
Just a very classic kit.
All
I
right.
like the vinyl logo right below Cliff
Mhm.
Bar, which is kind of in like that cool like 80s Technicolor. Very classy. So yeah, that's what I'm
All
going
right,
with.
let's talk top 3
Let's talk
teams
top,
that we think.
Top 3 teams, and then why are we picking them for our top 3?
All right, so number 3, I think will be Butcher Box. I think you have me sold on Butcher Box. Number 2 and number 1, I almost want to put them equal.
Okay.
Legion and Cliff Bar. I think those two are
Really?
going to be battling all year.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well. All right. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
But I'll explain why. So, I'll go through my 3 now. I'm gonna put Butcher Box as number 3.
Okay, so we agree on that.
So we agree on that, and
Yeah.
So Butcher Box won the team overall last year, but we're not really picking on who's gonna win the team overall.
Mhm.
We're picking teams based on who's going to get the most wins for the year. That's kind of our criteria, right?
Sure.
Butcher Box had a lot of really great results last year. I think they had a strong team and they had a good presence. But the one thing that I was waiting to see from them was a race win, and I don't believe they
They
did.
took third.
They
That was
they
their
had
best.
third at no, they had a second. They had a second at the last race of the year.
Third at Twilight. Or
Third,
Athens.
third at Athens, and then second place by Alex McLaughlin at, I believe that was the benchmark Westchester race, the last race of the year last year. So I'm still waiting to see for them to really coalesce around being able to win races and figuring out how that's going to work for their team. Are they going to force the breakaways? Are they going to just light it up for their best sprinters? I know they've got some really good sprinters on their team. So I don't doubt that they're going to be a good team this year. I'm waiting for it to happen, essentially. Number 2 is Cliff Bar for me. Again, I think, Cliff Bar actually lost to Butcher Box at the last race of the year for the team overall, but I think Cliff Bar has more experience in actually winning a lot of races. They've got the Malherbe brothers who can roll the breakaways, and they've brought home multiple USA Crit wins in the past 2 years. Even before that too. And then you've also got Zach Allison, who is, I'd say, one of the more seasoned riders on the team. Really great sprinter. He won San Rafael in 2018, a USA Crits race. And then you've got more of a young and up-and-comer in Owen Gillett, who's, kind of on the younger side of the team, but I think he continues to get better and better every single year, and he's also a very good sprinter for that squad. So I think that they're kind of sticking with what they know, and they're continuing to bring on more guys that can finish the job. So I think Cliff Bar is definitely going to be a threat this year. That's if anybody else wins a race aside from Legion. I think Legion is hands down the strongest team. Legion didn't race the full USA Crits calendar last year, but I think every race they showed up to, they finished the job with Justin Williams. And from all the preseason races that I've seen so far, nobody's really been able to manage to beat Legion with their lead-out train. So their lead-out train is really strong, and I think all the guys on the team are just really tactically savvy. So even when the lead-out train is not going to be the way that they win the race, they're still able to work the breakaways, they're still able to play the game, and they're still able to get whoever they need to in the right position to finish the job. I wouldn't be surprised if Legion wins pretty much every race. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say it.
Podium.
They're going to have a rider on every podium for sure.
I think
Barring Justin Williams crashing out and hurting himself, Corey Williams, something happening to him. They've also got,
they have to get rid of half their team.
They've got rid of, half their team's a threat to win. I mean, they're really good. So I highly doubt that they're going to have any problem, sticking to a lot of these teams. I think at least the first half of the season is going to be a lot of trial and error between a lot of these teams figuring out how to beat Legion, because a lot of these teams have not had the chance to race against Legion. Legion's a West Coast team. They're based out of California. A lot of these teams are East Coast teams I'm seeing on here. A couple of the teams are West Coast teams as well. But yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting season. I hope the racing's tighter. I hope they don't win every race, but I can just see it happening.
I think I think what Cliff Bar is going to do. So one thing I will say is that Legion, what makes them so successful is how much preparation they put into every single race.
Yeah.
They are researching every single rider, different strategies in order to race that race. I mean, Justin Williams even said himself in an interview that he does not go into races thinking, I'm just going to win this.
Yeah.
He goes into every single race extremely well prepared about all the different situations that might happen.
Oh, 100%. It's not a foregone conclusion that they're just going to light up the lead-out train with 10 minutes to go and then bring Justin to the line.
They have different strategies about what they want to do, and they know who's going to be showing up to that race and what their strengths are. What I want to see Cliff Bar doing is looking at what has made Legion successful and then just putting pressure on them in ways that make them very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can do that with the Malherbe brothers, where they are very successful in breakaways.
Right.
I think that is the two different teams are really good at very different things, where Cliff Bar is very successful in like breakaways, while Legion is very successful in let's get the train going. I think if Cliff Bar can somehow disrupt that, they can kind of break that Legion.
Do we think we're going to see a lot of cooperation between these teams? I have a feeling that...
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think it's going to be...
I have a feeling
they're going to try to interrupt each other's like what they want to do.
Because I think Legion's going to be, and watch, I say this and Legion doesn't win a race or something like that. But I think it's obvious to say that they're going to be a bit of a powerhouse. And if they come out swinging, and if they win the first couple of races, you don't see any situation where maybe a couple of these teams are saying, hey, we got to start stacking the breakaway. Hey, we've got to maybe put them in a bad position earlier on. We're better off dismantling their team, and then maybe, we all got a 1 in 5 chance of winning instead of, a 1 in 50 chance if we take them to the line.
Yeah, especially after they are coming after the dominance of UHC, where a lot of teams have raced with the blue train.
Yep.
And now they kind of know how to combat it. Mm-hmm. So now it's another team just coming in with the same strategy that UHC had, and it's kind of like, okay, we faced this before.
Right.
Let's apply it to this, and I think that's what Cliff Bar is going to do.
And I think the big foil in the era of UHC was a Dan Holloway, somebody that was just extremely gifted at crit racing and an extremely gifted racer, both physically and mentally, and he just knew how to game that train, and he a lot of times was only on a squad with 1 or 2 other guys, and he seemed to be one of, if not the only couple people that could really play against the UHC train. I think now we're looking at an era where we've got, the reincarnation of the UHC train and Legion, but we've got these other teams they've got full squads, so they're going to have to figure out how to use their squads now to beat Legion. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to make some really interesting races. To be honest, I'm very excited to see how a lot of these teams are gonna take them on, because I feel like that's where the target is right now. The target is on the back of Justin Williams. He cleaned up last year a lot of races, so we'll see what happens there.
All right. Well, we are hitting about 47 minutes. Why don't we wrap it up there?
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
About time to hit it.
All right. Well, if you are watching this, thank you for watching us. Hit that subscribe button. If you are just listening to this, please go to our YouTube channel, Bike Racing Weekly. Check us out there if you haven't already.
Hit that subscribe button.
You can find us on
Facebook
at Bike Race Weekly, Instagram, Twitter, all under the same name. Go follow us there. Go check us out. If you are in Wisconsin, we're going to be trying to hit up all the local crit races coming up.
Yes.
Lacrosse, maybe we'll do a podcast out there. If you want to be on it, let us know. If you're a Cat 1 who wants to give us tips on how to
race our bikes better.
How to race our bikes better.
Yeah.
How to race, your first P12 race.
P12 crit.
I'm looking for suggestions.
If you're a Cat 5 and you just want to talk about how much fun you're having, we'd love to hear it.
That is actually something I wanted to do, was get try to get someone on here who's raced a few pro races, and kind of pick their brain of how do you jump into your first P12 race at a big race.
We're kind of spitballing right here, but here's what I'm thinking. I think we should get some people that did the race over the weekend. We give them a call. We get them to call in. Maybe some of the guys from Cliff Bar, or maybe good guys racing, or the Tide team. Have them call in, we talk to them for 5 minutes, they tell us how the race went from their perspective. I want to hear it. I want all the insights.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for watching us. If you are watching us, anything else?
No, I think that's it. Till next time, stay tuned for our race coverage. We're going to be doing a companion podcast of the first USA Crit race.
Yeah.
And then we'll also be doing a recap. So be sure to follow along.
Go get the USA Crits TV thing.
That is why.
Go... What am I trying to say?
Then watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Go watch it, and
go to your local
support. Yeah, go support crit racing in America.
Crits are great. All right. See you, everybody.